ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो
ओम नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो
ओम
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायण
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं
नरं
चैव
चैव
नरोत्तमं
नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं
देवीं
व्यासं
सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयत्।
तो जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत
नित्यं
सेवया
भागवते
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भगवते
भगवति
उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्टिकी।
नैष्टिकी।
Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, title conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. And today's verse is verse number 62. Tam eva saranam gaccha
तम
तं
एव
एव
शरणं गच्छ
शरणं गच्छ
sarva bhavena bharata
सर्वभावेन
स्वभावेन
भारत।
भारत।
tat prasadat param santim
तत्प्रसादात्
तत्प्रसादात्
परां
परं
शान्तिं
शान्तिं
sthanam prapshyasi saswatam.
स्थानं
धनं
प्राप्स्यसि
प्राप्यसि
शाश्वतम्।
शाश्वतम्।
Tam eva saranam gaccha
तम्
तम एव
एवं शरणं
शरणं
गच्छ
गच्छ
sarva bhavena bharata
सर्वभावेन
सर्वभावेन
भारत।
भारत।
तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं
तत्प्रसादात्
तत्प्रसादात्
परां
परं
शान्तिं
शान्तिं
स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्.
स्थानं
स्थानं प्राप्यसि
प्राप्स्यसि
शाश्वतम्।
शाश्वतम्।
Anyone would like to lead?
तम एव शरणं गच्छ
तम् एवं शरणं गच्छ
सर्वभावेन भारत।
सर्वभावेन भारत
तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं
तत्प्रसादात्
तत्प्रसादात्
परां
परां
शान्तिं
शान्तिम्
स्थानं प्राप्यसि शाश्वतम्।
स्थानं
स्थानं
प्राप्स्यसि
प्राप्स्यसि
शाश्वतम्।
शाश्वतम्।
तमेव शरणं गच्छ
तम
तम्
एव
एव
शरणं
शरणं
गच्छ
गच्छ
सर्वभावेन भारत।
सर्वभावेन
सर्वभावेन भारत
भारत।
तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं
तत्प्रसादात्
तत्प्रसादात्
परं
परां
शान्तिं
शान्तिम्
स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्।
स्थानं
स्थानं
प्राप्यसि
प्राप्स्यसि
शाश्वतम्।
शाश्वतम्. Thank you very much. Word by word meaning. Tam unto him.
Come unto
Come
him.
unto him.
Eva certainly.
Eva certainly.
Certainly.
Saranam gaccha.
Sharanam
Sharanam
gaccha.
gaccha.
Surrender.
Surrender.
Sarva bhavena.
Sarvabhavena.
Sarvabhavena.
In all respects.
In
In
all
all
respects.
respect.
Bharata.
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 O son of Bharata.
O
O
son of
son of
Bharata.
Bharata.
Tat prasadat.
Tat
Tat
prasada.
prasada.
By his grace.
By his
By his
grace.
grace.
Param.
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 Transcendental.
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 Santim.
Shantim.
Shanti.
Peace.
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 Sthanam.
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 The abode.
The abode.
Abode.
Prapsyasi.
Prapsyasi.
Prapyasi.
You will get.
You will get.
Saswatam.
Shashwatam.
Shashvatam.
Eternal.
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 Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
O Scion of Bharata,
O Scion of Bharata.
surrender unto him utterly.
Surrender unto him utterly.
Eternally.
By his grace,
By his
By
grace,
his grace.
you will attain
you will
You
attain
will attain
transcendental peace
transcendental
transcendental
peace
peace
and the supreme
and the
and the
supreme
supreme
and eternal abode.
and eternal
and
abode.
eternal abode.
Anyone would like to read this page of purport by His Divine Grace?
A living entity should therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, and that will relieve him from all kinds of miseries of this material existence. By such surrender, not only will one be released from all miseries in this life, but At the end, he will reach the Supreme God. The transcendental world is described in the Vedic literature, Veda 1.22.20, as Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam, since all of creation is the kingdom of God. Everything material is actually spiritual, but Paramam Padam specifically refers to the internal abode, which is called the spiritual sky of Vaikuntha. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Sarvasya Chaham Rudisannivishtam. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So, this recommendation that one should surrender unto the super soul sitting within means that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of God, Godhead, Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjun as the Supreme. Now it is not coming. He was accepted in the 10th chapter.
As Param Brahma, Param Dhama. Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the supreme abode of all living entities, not only because of his personal experience, but also because of the evidence of great authorities like Narada, Asita, and Vyasa. Devala and Vyasa. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Let's all chant together. अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागररघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागरललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी श्रीभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. And what a verse to discuss today. 62, which focuses on surrender, which is actually a verse which is following the prior verse, where surrender is also spoken. So 61, 62 together speaks about surrendering, and gradually it will lead into Mamekam Sharanam Braja at the end of Bhagavad Gita, after a few verses, because we're coming to the end of the Bhagavad Gita. So Sharanam, or the surrender, is essentially one of the conclusive messages of Bhagavad Gita. And see how Krishna here is explaining that not to surrender to him here. Eventually, he's going to say that in the subsequent verse. But here, he's saying surrender to who? The absolute truth. The surrender to whom? Who is residing in your heart as super soul. So let's go into this verse and try to dissect this. Tam eva saranam gaccha. That means you surrender unto who? Who is sarva bhavena bharata. Who is in all respects. He is he is complete. And in all aspects, he is complete because of his grace, Tat Prasada. By his grace, you will gain what? You'll gain peace, Santi, and you'll gain his abode, Sthanam. Prapyasi means you will achieve his eternal abode. So here, Krishna is not saying to surrender unto him, but he's saying surrender to whom? Who is the supreme, who is complete in all aspects. And here, Srila Prabhupada is also taking it to a very clear level by saying surrender unto him. Here, he's leaving the personality as him. He's not really saying who that person is. In the subsequent verse, he is going to say, surrender unto me. But here, he is trying to build a, it's an interaction, right? Bhagavad Gita is interaction. And here, he is trying to build a case about whom to surrender, who is, by surrendering, you will gain peace and you will gain his eternal abode. And and Srila Prabhupada is quoting from various different Rig Vedas and various different scriptures saying that the living entity should always surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is situated in everyone's heart. And because as he is residing in our heart as Paramatma, he is able to see what we are doing. There is nothing which is not clear to him, even if we have some ulterior motive in trying to do something. The Supreme Personality of Godhead as Paramatma, Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in many different aspects. He is present as Archa Vigraha form in the temple, whom you often worship. And also he is present in our heart as Paramatma. As he is residing in our heart as Paramatma, as you saw the two birds, one bird is watching the other bird who is actually eating the fruits of the tree. He is watching. And the bird who is eating the fruits of the tree is compared with the soul. And the bird which is watching that other bird is compared with the super soul. So the super soul is watching your actions, your day-to-day activities. But let's talk a little bit about surrender. If you do not surrender to the Supreme, what you will do? You will surrender to somebody, whether you will surrender to your manager, whether you will surrender to your family progenies who have come from your father or your grandfather. You sometimes may surrender to your wife may surrender to a husband. In any of these surrendering activities, you'll see that there is an element of ulterior motive. There might be a lot of positivity. If the relationship is very pure, there is definitely some positivity, but it is not free from impurities. There is some expectations. There is some selfless motives. There is so Narad Muni, when he meets Dhruva Maharaj in the forest, once Dhruva Maharaj has left the palace after getting insulted by her stepmom, Suruchi, is met by Narad Muni. Narad Muni is explaining a lot of things about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in addition to the beauty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narad Muni is explaining about the character of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there he uses the word pranata, that means one who is surrendered. And he uses the word in Srimad Bhagavatam, ashrayanam, that means shelter of the surrender. Raman, that means who is transcendently pleasing in all aspects. So here we're talking about the capability of a person in giving surrender. Sometimes when you say that when you go to Vrindavan and you roll in the soil of Vrindavan, you realize that Vrindavan soil is the purest form. That means even if you roll in Raman Reti in different places in Vrindavan, the purity is there because Krishna in his Valya Leela and Kaishwarya Leela has played on the soil of Vrindavan. So actually, if you go there, there are one or two places where the soil is so soft, it is softer than the Nycil powder you can think of. So those places, the soil of Vrindavan is purest. You don't have the power to impure it by virtue of whatever. Likewise, Ganga, you'll see Ganga is going through, he's come from the lotus feet of the Lord, and he's going to different places. Sometimes you go to certain places, there are a lot of chemicals. Some places, Ganga is filled with corpses. But from the side of that area, you will see people taking a bottle of water as Ganga Jal and using it for. So wherever Ganga goes, you can't tarnish it because it is worshipable. Vrindavan's soil is worshipable and you don't have power to tarnish it. Likewise, Jagannath Prasad, from the plate of the prasad you are eating, another person is eating. But when he is eating, after you have eaten, he is not eating your jhuta because Jagannath Prasad is so transcendental, is so powerful that you do not have the power to make it jhuta. You don't have the audacity and power to make it jhuta. So that means it's so powerful. Likewise, Harinam, even if it is spoken early morning or later in a sitting position, in a walking position, the Harinam is very powerful. So Gangachal, the soil of Vrindavan, Jagannath Prasad, and Harinam, we don't have power to tarnish it. So that means it is so powerful. Likewise, who is surrenderable? Who you can surrender? We all talk about surrendering, right? But first thing we have to recognize is who is worthy of surrender? A person who is complete, one who is complete in beauty, one who is complete in power, one who is complete in knowledge. And in spite of having all of the completeness, he or she doesn't have the arrogance or ahankar that he is complete, he or she is complete. That is the true completeness. Sometimes what happens is you have all the things in the world, but you have so much of ego behind the scene that aspect, that envy aspect, the angry aspect, we do not have the control to control our anger. We do not have ability to control our envy. So how can you be surrendering to someone who is incomplete? So Narad Muni and many other personalities, Prabhupada is saying Narad Muni in this verse, and so many other higher personalities. But who is surrenderable is defined by how complete a person is. So that's the reason why Lord is leading Arjuna to that point wherein he is leading him to surrender to the Supreme. And finally, he reveals that Mamekam Sharanam Braja. But here he's saying, surrender to him, whom after surrendering, you'll gain Santi or peace or achieve the abode of the Lord. So, whenever we think about surrendering, we have to question ourselves Who are we surrendering to? Is it the manager? There'll be some manager in the company who is surrendering to the CEO. CEO would be surrendering to the board of directors. There is no manager except God who doesn't have a manager. So, as different personalities from our movement, they were asking some questions. They were in search of truth. They went from some sannyasis from our movement have hitchhiked from west to east, east to west to seek the truth. And everywhere they find that there is one person who we should surrender. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here he is referring to Arjuna as the scion of the Bharat family. And with that authority, he is saying that there is someone you should surrender. By surrendering, you will gain Santim and you gain his abode. And Krishna's 64 qualities are very nicely explained in many different scriptures, wherein he has 4 additional qualities higher than Lord Vishnu: Leela Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, Rupa Madhuri, and Vina Madhuri. So these qualities are very much part and parcel of the Lord, who we should Rupa Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, and Venu Madhuri, which we should imbibe. Rupa, his appearance, is beautiful. Prema, his love, seeking love of Godhead, is unthinkable when he blows his Venu or Vansi, is very pleasing to the cows and gopas and gopis, and Leela through his pastimes. So Rupa Madhuri, Prema Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and Leela Madhuri, these are the 4 extra qualities which Krishna possesses, which Vishnu doesn't possess in full. But Krishna has 64 qualities, 4 ahead of the 60 qualities Vishnu possesses to the full. So essentially, the extent of surrender should be such that there is no ulterior motive, there is no selfishness attached, there is no envy or ahankar. And if you end up doing that, we are surrendering to the perfect Supreme Personality of the Godhead, who, through various different scriptures, have been categorized as the one who you can blindly surrender. And Krishna is leading Arjuna to that. And which is why we as practitioners of attempting to love the Supreme should increase our loving expression to the Supreme, because if we do not increase our loving exchanges with the Supreme, then everything falls into a habit and we will get into the act of Maya and will be coerced into, getting under the coziness of Maya, sleeping early, not reading the scriptures, not hearing scriptures, not participating in discussion. And that will gradually take us away. It's a practice because we are practitioners of Krishna consciousness. If we don't practice, we will also get into laziness, because by default setting, we all are lazy personalities, and we have the cheating propensity, as Srila Prabhupada has quoted from various different places. We have the cheating propensity human beings by nature have cheating propensity. And if we let go this ability to not practice Krishna consciousness, Krishna chooses to reveal himself whoever he wants. By thinking that we will do 16 rounds very with purity, we have a control or a command over Krishna that he should give mercy. That's not how it works. The way it works is Krishna should choose to reveal himself to you. There are devotees who are ordinary devotees. They're not educated. They're neither Brahmanas, but Krishna has revealed himself to them. So it's a loving situation. How the lover exchanges with us is something for us to ponder and strengthen internally, so that when we are in our final journey, we only think of Krishna and no one other than Krishna. And that is the yardstick for our sadhana as to what all we have done in this, how many initiations we have done, 1, 2, 3, whatever we have done. But to the end, we should have such strong relationship with the Supreme so that we don't forget, and Krishna is locked in our mind and in our eyes when we are going for our final journey. So we can go on and on, but would like to end here. If you have any question or comments, we can discuss. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just
Hare
wanted to
Krishna.
say that sand you spoke, right? So Govardhan Parikrama Marg, that sand is completely like that, very, very soft. I mean, softer than soft, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So there is a place wherein you go towards the towards the uh, towards the inner side of Vrindavan, uh, where there is a lot of there's a temple where there are a lot of pillars. You know, actually, on the way to that is that place, and Govardhan also. In some areas, as you rightly said, there are the sand is very soft as well. Uh, there is there are those are some of the places where Krishna has exhibited that pastimes. Thank you, bro. No, there is a place. There are 84 pillars. It's called Chaurasi Khamba in Vrindavan, Prabhu.
Okay.
It's in Mahavan Gokul area, and well, while you go to that Chaurasi Khamba area, Prabhu, there is a place. There is a place. I don't know whether it is in the Gokul area. There is Raman Rethi and one or two. Actually, Raman Rethi is the place, Prabhu. You may be right about some of the places you have experienced in Govardhan, but I think the place where devotees go and roll on the sand is actually Raman Rethi. It's on the way to the Chaurasi Khamba temple.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not an expert on Vrindavan, Prabhu, but some of the places for us to see in Vrindavan are all our 6 Goswamis have made temples. In each of them have Mother Mohan temple, and they have manifested. It's not as if somebody buys some wood or sand or some structure and installs. No, they have they have all the six Goswamis, by virtue of their love and devotion. Krishna has manifested in those temples. So all the Goswamis temples are there. Then Banke Vihari is another. Ter Kadam is a place where Rupa Goswami, Bhajan Kutir is there, where Krishna, in order not to trouble Rupa Goswami, who is one of the devotees, the tree is sunken there. The tree is a big tree, but the branches are sunken. Ter Kadam, then Raman Reti, Chorasi Khamba, Govardhan is a wonderful. There are a lot of, and there is, of course, Radha Kund, Prem Sarovar. So many beautiful, beautiful places are there. I have been there, and until Radharani calls out, we won't get a chance to go there. But definitely, some of those references are very much there. And of course, our ISKCON temple, which is very, very popular and very the Govinda restaurant is very nice. We all should aspire to go. Maybe 1 or 2 years, we all should go together, and it will have and we can all share some of the beautiful activities you can do, going there for like 3, 4, 5 days and staying there and getting charged up for the next 1 or 2 years for our sadhana. Okay, bro. Anything else? Any other comments?
No comments, Prabhuji. Thank you for this.
Yeah. And I must not forget. Then there is this Nanda Baba's temple, where there is Nanda Baba's temple is there, and there is all the Mahadevs who are protecting the Dham, Nandeswar Mahadev, and so many. So those are also very, and of course Radharani's place is there.
Barsana.
Barsana is there, beautiful place, and all this Nidhivan and all this forests where Krishna and Radha used to have those hidden pastimes. Nidhiban, so many beautiful. Vrindavan is the forest of Vrinda Devi, which Tulsi forest. So beautiful place. Thank you. We can have maybe in the next Kartik month we'll have a one class devoted to all the important places of Vrindavan. Niranjan Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Last year, actually, we visited all the places that you described, and we visited to Raman Reti, where we rolled the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sand is very, very soft.
Mm-hmm.
I see like lot of kids, also school kids, they come there for the 1 day tour to Raman Reti. I mean, the teacher, they came and they play around with it. So, very, very good, Prabhuji. Yeah. So coming to this verse, Prabhuji, so the 61 and 62 both are related to each other, right? So 61, where Lord is saying that I'm super soul, and like the living entity is sitting in the machine, right? And here the Lord is saying that you have to surrender to that super soul. Right? With that, with His grace, you will attain the peace, right? So I mean, from this verse, if you see like after around 6 or 7 verses, where Lord actually tells that you have to surrender to me instead of super soul, right? So I mean, why like Lord could have directly tell now? Why Lord is saying now super soul now? What is the reason? I know like that was some reason.
Right. Very nice question, bro. So our acharyas mentioned that Bhagavad Gita is a conversation. It's a frequently asked question. So Lord is leading to something. So when we read Bhagavad Gita end to end, and all these relationships between the verses, where Arjuna will be referred as Gudakesh. That means he has control sleep. When he is trying to ignite Arjuna's thing, sometimes he will refer to Arjuna as Dhananjaya. Sometimes he will refer to Arjuna in this verse as Bharat, the scion of the Bharatvarsha. So Krishna is a beautiful. Krishna is a great storyteller. So he is gradually making a case. So if he will eventually say, "Surrender unto me" on the first words, and that's it, then Arjuna will not understand as is. So our Acharyas mentioned that he is trying his best to make Arjuna understand based on his grasp. So in the second, third chapter, Arjuna is very confused. So there he is giving all those rationalizations where Arjuna will understand. So as Krishna is one of the greatest, he's the greatest person in the world. So when Arjuna is in a slippery slope, when Arjuna is in a different situation, our Acharya has mentioned that based on the absorption of Arjuna, Lord Krishna is because initially when Arjuna said, "I said this verse to others," Arjuna became confused. Then how come you are my cousin brother, but you have been there before? And you remember everything which I don't remember across my lives. So when Bhagavad Gita is understood through the dialogues and expressions by our acharyas, it even makes more sense. These questions are not there in Bhagavad Gita in any way, but these questions have answers by our acharyas, who we have beautifully shared all those nice in- interactive reasons as to why he's trying to make a point, and is a personalized conversation. Krishna is a person, Arjuna is a person, so the Lord has to be a person. So he is giving a personalized treatment. Generally, when your kid doesn't understand in second grade some maths, you don't go and tell fifth grade math because he will not understand. So you have to come down to the level of second grade to get his absorption right. And that's the reason our Acharya is mentioned. Is that okay, bro?
Yes, Guruji, I got it. Thank you. And I was hearing one of the lectures from Amrendra Prabhu where he was saying, just I want to say one more thing, Prabhuji, apart from
Please.
so our progress in our bhakti, right, depends on like 95% depends on how we are chanting the holy name,
Mm,
and remaining 5% depends on our remaining services, okay, right? Like the puja and everything, okay. So all other services we do so that we will chant properly, okay, so that we
mm,
will, take Suddha Naam, okay, right? So this 95% entirely like, our progress in our bhakti depends on how properly, how, without any offense, how we are chanting the name, holy name, right, Prabhuji? And as you rightly said in the beginning that there are like, for example, the Ganga water, right, which will remain pure, okay. Whatever impure thing you will add to it, it will still remain pure. And secondly, the sand of the Vrindavan that you told, right? Like that it will remain pure, okay, right?
mm,
And thirdly, the name also, right? Like the Lord's holy name, which is Chintamani, right? So they will remain always pure, right? But as the Kali Yuga, progresses, right? Where, these, like, for example, the sand or the scripture also, right? There can be some, because now, due to Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we are reading the Gita as it is, okay, right? But let's say after some year, there could be some modification on the Gita also, right? I mean, not now, maybe after some years. But the name is something, Prabhuji, nobody can change anything, okay? The
mm,
name will always remain pure, okay? Right? Now it will be pure, and after some years it will, because you can't modify the name, okay? Lord's name remain, It will always remain same, right? So there cannot be any add or subtraction to it, okay, right? But the scripture can be, changed maybe after 100 years or 200 years, who knows, right? Because as the Kali Yuga proceeds, like there could be some addition or subtraction to the Gita or something, right? But the name is something which will remain always pure, Prabhuji, because there cannot be any addition or subtraction to it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Prabhu, if a person comes to ISKCON or Hare Krishna movement for the first time, and you just give him a beat back and it's a chant, as you were saying name, he will not understand the value of this jewel of Harinam. So, in order to appreciate the power of holy name, you need to be at certain situation. Probably 3 years before when you joined or whenever you joined. If somebody tells you to chant from a person from science background, engineering background, you would not align. Okay. So devotional service is a multidimensional view of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna connects us differently. So these Krishna can connect through his attractive looks, through his service of you, creating a garland for him, creating bhoga for him, creating katha for him, creating seminar for him, and of course chanting for him. So these multidimensional aspect of connecting to Krishna are means to eventually appreciate holy name. And once you appreciate for a great sadhaka like Amarendra Prabhu, he has built a ruchi for the name. That's why he could exhibit that. But for a lot of devotees who are in probably 0 to 10 years of Krishna consciousness, they will not understand that 95% is from the chanting. That's aspirational. That's a desire. So we all are trying to imbibe that sense. But if you straight away say chant 2 hours a day, all the other dimensions of Krishna will not be exposed to them. And even if they do renunciation and start chanting without absorbing, they will later have premature renunciation or there will be frustration. So that's why Krishna consciousness is understood by simple people. And there are people with great big degrees. They still haven't understood the value of the name. So how do we get there is a big challenge. In this world, when people are talking about yoga, the exercise, taking your hand in the back, this, that. But the real yoga is the love for Godhead, which is not understood by many. And there is nothing wrong or right about it. Maybe we have to make an attempt to convey the message in a way wherein name is important, but all the dimensions of Krishna, the kathas, the beauty of these scriptural references has to be well thought out. Otherwise, they will take to chanting, but they will not continue. Is that okay, bro?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much for that. So, Prabhuji, if one person takes Sudnam, for how many years it will take for him to to get the ruchi, like complete ruchi for the?
Yeah, very nice question, bro. So, I mean, Srila Prabhupada, in one of the beautiful videos you may have seen, refers where he has a full house of devotees in his early days, in probably late 60s, after he founded ISKCON. There was a question: how long does it take to become transformed into Krishna conscious? Prabhupada says it can take 1 minute. It is the level of surrender, which is essentially the topic of our conversation. How surrendered we are Whenever our promotion doesn't come, a lot of our devotional activities get affected by it. So, are we conscious enough? But a great devotee would think that the lack of promotion means he can spend more time in Krishna conscious activities. So that's how the dovetailing has happened in his mind. But are we there yet? And if you're not there, if we are not there, that's fine. We just have to. So, uh, and it's a natural process. It's a natural process of slowly going and accepting the eventual truth, because this is not a race. This is ultimate truth. Even if we have accepted the truth when you are 70 or 80, it's still good, because we want to get there before. It's not so this, we won't gain much by getting it early or less. Maybe because there is so much of dimensions of Krishna to cherish and to relish. There is no end to it. But we have to be serious. We have to. So I would like to say that it can take a minute for somebody. It can take 10 years. Some people take Punarapi Jaranam, Puranapi Maranam, but nothing happens. They still come to the material world and end up doing the same thing they do in the mundane way. So it depends, bro. But what good?
So
Good.
Prabhuji, when you say 1 minute, right? That I heard that video. Someone is asking, right? Like how
Hmm.
many births will take to reach to the Supreme Lord?
Hmm.
Then Prabhupada told, right? It takes 1 minute. Okay, like right. So when you say 1 minute, let's say if I verbally I say and I surrender to God, but but that will not, right? Because you have to actually surrender to God, like with full conscious, right?
Right.
So yeah, how
That's a
that
loaded
works?
answer, actually.
Yeah.
It's a great answer, but it's a loaded answer. But there are people, I know, some of the acharyas we see now, sannyasis from our movement, who surrendered to Prabhupada immediately. And they lived brahmacharis all their life. They are now 70 years old. Some of them very prominent now. So it's not as if they don't exist. But look at the kind of detachment they went through, the kind of sacrifice they went through. So they are amazing personalities. That's why we look up. That's why we bow down. That's why we pay obeisances. Even if 1% of their mercy we get, we'll be successful. Okay, bro?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
And on that note, I was hearing something. The Sadhu Sangha retreat for 2026 is announced. It's not going to be in Dallas, or it's not going to be in Orlando. It's going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana this year in the May long weekend. So it just got announced today, I think. So, and the reservation will start from 7th December. So it's a great opportunity to uh, get invested in the holy name in terms of participation, in terms of being part of the event. Fortunately, I'm part of
When is that, Prabhuji?
It's always on the May long weekend, and it's organized by Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. This is the 13th, 2026 is the 13th Sadhu Sangha retreat. It starts from Friday evening all the way goes to Sunday for 3 days. Many times it was hosted in Dallas. Last year it was in Orlando. 2026 is going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. So if you have time, if you want to participate, it's a good opportunity to go and plan for it. Sadhu Sangha 2026, you can Google.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So let's end here. Thank you so much for focused and kind attention. Let's pray obeisance at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas. by saying Vancha Kalpataruvyascha
कृपा
Kripa
सिन्धुभ्यैव च
Sindhubhyeva
पतितानां
Cha
पावनेभ्यो
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnava
Namo Namo.
Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai
जय
Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai
जय
Srila Prabhupada
पाद
ki
की
jai
जय
Jai.
Gaur Premanande
हरि
Hari
हरि
Hari Bol
बोल
Hari Hari Bol.